For most modern Christians, the doctrine of the Trinity provides the standard definitions of God. It functions as the theological framework where the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit exist as three co-equal persons. Yet, historical analysis and biblical exegesis reveal a significant gap. This triune framework is noticeably absent from the pages of the Bible, leaving a disconnect between the original text and modern tradition. That historical record points to a specific shift. The Trinity emerged as early church leaders moved away from strict Hebrew monotheism, adopting Hellenistic ideas to speak the language of the Roman Empire. By tracing the timeline from 1st century Israel to the schisms of the Middle Ages, we can identify how political power and philosophical compromise reshaped the original Hebraic understanding of God. Any investigation of these origins must begin with the theology of 1st century Judaism. This was the world of Jesus and the apostles, characterized by a strictly singular monotheism. The Shema, recorded in Deuteronomy 6:4, defines this baseline. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. The Hebrew word echad, one, marks the starting point of our map. In these scriptures, God is consistently depicted as a single, unique intelligence. The text presents a declaration of exclusivity, describing a Godhead distinct from the composite or divided identities found in later creeds. Jesus and his apostles maintained this focus, affirming the Shema without introducing a triune definition. The historical evidence suggests the divisions of the Trinity were an external development, introduced long after the apostles. By the 2nd and 3rd centuries, church leadership became increasingly Gentile. As they sought to convert the Roman intellectual elite, the cultural center of the faith shifted from Jerusalem toward the philosophical centers of the Greek world. Later church theologians began interpreting Hebrew scriptures through the lens of Greco-Roman philosophy, attempting to harmonize biblical concepts with classical thought. They adopted the Neoplatonic concept of the One, an abstract, distant source, and applied it to the biblical Father. This was followed by the integration of the Logos, popularized by Philo of Alexandria as an intermediary second God. Theologians personalized this abstract reason, identifying it as a pre-existent Son. This substitution replaced the relational concepts of the Hebrew covenant with abstract philosophical definitions, marking a departure from biblical monotheism toward a human-designed system. The shift reached a turning point with Tertullian, a Roman African apologist active between 155 and 220 AD. Tertullian was trained in Roman law, and this professional background provided the structural and legalistic framework for his theological writing. Tertullian was the first to coin the Latin term Trinitas, Trinity, to describe the nature of God. He utilized legal terminology to categorize the Godhead, defining it as one substantia, or substance, consisting of three personae, or persons. This shift imposed rigid Roman legal definitions onto the God of Israel, creating the paradoxical abstractions that became the hallmark of later orthodoxy. By 325 AD, a conflict in Alexandria between Arius and Athanasius over the nature of the Son had escalated into a crisis that threatened the stability of the empire. Emperor Constantine intervened to secure the unity of his state. For Constantine, theological precision was secondary to the political necessity of a unified Roman Empire. To resolve the dispute and maintain order, Constantine convened the Council of Nicaea. The debate centered on two non-biblical Greek words, Homoousios, meaning same substance, and Homoiousios, meaning similar substance. The difference was a single letter, the iota. Constantine mandated the use of Homoousios. This imperial decree officially established the co-equality of the Son, ending the debate through political force. The Nicene Creed became the bedrock of modern orthodoxy, yet its primary definitions were forged to resolve philosophical contradictions through the power of the emperor. This triad was finalized at the Council of Constantinople in 381 AD, where the deity of the Holy Spirit was formally added to complete the three-person formula. Over several centuries, this artificial philosophical architecture grew increasingly complex, moving further away from its Hebraic roots. The instability of these definitions eventually led to the Filioque controversy, as the Western Church added the Latin phrase "and from the Son" to the Creed. The Eastern Church rejected this addition, leading to a theological gridlock that could not be resolved. The reliance on these hyper-specific, non-biblical definitions led to an internal breakdown, resulting in the Great Schism of 1054. The historical evidence points to a derivation. The Trinity is a philosophical hybrid of Philo's Hellenism, Tertullian's vocabulary, and Constantine's mandates. This shifted focus away from faithful obedience to a relational God toward intellectual assent to an abstract formula. Walking in the way of the original apostles requires a return to the bold, uncompromising monotheism found in the Scriptures. To see the only true God made manifest in the flesh, we must strip away the Greco-Roman traditions of men and return to the unchanging authority of the original Word.